Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I really appreciate you being here. Today we're going to play along with Christy's Beautiful Life Series 12. And to see others, there is an ever-growing playlist. This sketch that I just went off the page is from day 19 from Hannah Painter, and she's on Instagram at Mrs. Crafty Mama. I'm going to use this picture of my Sassy since birth. She's about 8 here, but my youngest. She just decided to put on goth makeup and make her hair look like dreads that day. I don't know why, she just did. And so first I'm going to use the Wild Whisper papers for the Sassy Since Birth, and I have this card, a piece of mustardy cardstock, and then I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut this banner out because I want to use it, but I also want to use the background to frame my picture, because this mustard color is kind of very similar to the tank top she's got on. And I like it. It's fun. So I am not going to make you watch me painfully do this because, oh my goodness, that could be painful. So here's the last little bit. I'm cutting the last little bit out with my scissors. So I just used the X-Acto knife, cut that little slit in, and then I used my scissors because it's way faster and easier. And then I'm just going to trim my photo down just a touch to be able to use on what's left over for that back piece. My trimmer didn't actually trim very nicely, so and then I had problems with my tape runner. I don't know if it was because it's the glossy. You can see it on the side there. So not working very well. So I used the last little bit of that one up, but I don't know if it was the glossy or whatnot. But so I'm thinking that the Sassy Since Birth will be right there. And so I'm going to gut this paper. It's going to be the outside piece that you see on the sketch. And so I'm just going to take off, so it's 12 already. And then I'm going to gut the inside so I can have a bit of a border. I'm putting my paper at 10. Here in a second, I'm going to do 10. And then I'm going to just pull my blade down from 2 to 10. And then that gives me a good box inside. Go. I was thinking about doing 11 in one, and I kind of wish I did, but I didn't, so that is what it is. 10 and 2 is kind of my default, but it only gives you an 8-inch square from the inside, but it gives you lots to tack this other one down. And so I take an inch off of the yellow. I pulled out this hexy page too. It's from the Sassy Since Birth too. And so here I'm going to pull off an inch of both sides of this one, just so that I have a 1/2 inch on the border of those X's, and so it should be a 1/2 inch all the way around, and it is. But man, oh man, because this X's goes on a diagonal, it does not look like it is square, and I struggled. I took a lot of the struggle out for you, so you don't actually see all the struggle. So that would have been fine. And I pull it off and put it on because it doesn't look right and it doesn't look right. So now I'm actually going to take my T-square ruler and I'm actually putting in the 1/2 inch that it needs to go at so that I can line up that one side. And it still looks wrong, but it is square when it goes on there. Totally square. And I use my T-square a couple more times to double check. So I'm like, yep, it is. Yep, it is. Oh, it was like, look at how not square that looks, even though it is square. And so then there's this piece, and then I'm going to cut a chunk of this, which is very, very, very bright and patterny, but that mustard color is still in there, and the black that she's got on is in there. So I'm just going to cut out a 10-inch square of this. And then I'm going to fussy cut some of the hexes out so it has a funky border. So I don't actually make you watch that either. So I put it on and go, man, does that make that look really, really wonky? So it's wonky, so might as well make the wonky work. And I like the way that an edge of a hexie looks, so that's what I'm going to do. So like, that doesn't look right. That looks, it's that background paper. If I'd done everything before I put that background paper on for those crosses, it would have been fine and it would have not have bothered me so much. But everything looks askew and it's just driving me bonkers. So I'm looking back and forth at the sketch and I'm like, that makes it look even more askew. So here I'm just finishing up, and so that's what this piece looks like. I'm also going to take my T-square ruler and line up the hexies that are cut at the same distance because they are pretty well lined up, and make sure when I glue it down, because I'm going to use wet glue because Wild Whisper, everything they do is glossy, and so I just use the glue for the most part to get those ones to stick. So that's where I want it, down a little bit. I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to grab my glue, and then I'm just going to smear this glue underneath and hold it so that it glues. Man, it looks wonky. It is not, but it so looks wonky. It's a good thing that the name of this one is Sassy Since Birth because the wonky really goes with this kiddo of mine. She is sassy. And man, that paper looks sassy. Okay, and then I'm going, yep, that is straight. We're okay there. And so I am going to put the picture on straight as well. So I'm going to line up my T-square right away. I decide to use glue dots to put them up. Sorry about that little bit of a wiggle. And so you can see they had a bunch stick together. It was a calamity of things today. Calamity of things. This wasn't working. My tape wasn't working. These at least are sticky and will stay, but looked wonky, wasn't lining up. Then I moved that up and I'm like, I didn't want to move that up. There we go. It can go right there. This is going to go on. Sorry about my head. It's also going to get popped up. Just making sure I'm putting it on the right side of the title because it's going to overlap my picture. And just rolling that up, putting it away so I can find it again. And then in between these two heart foil things is some stitch rub-ons, and they are from the DCWV company. And these are older than the Hills. They have a little bit of stick left on it, but not a lot. So I was just thinking about which stitch lines to use. I go with the zigzag, but they're in the middle. So I will go and take my stapler and I staple both sides together on the backing sheet because they are a little sticky, but there I go, decide. There we go, not my stapler. Where is my stapler? It is, I'll use this one. Sorry, there's my ear. And then those other two pieces will stay connected, and then I can slice this middle piece up, not so bad, without destroying the other ones. I am not going to make you watch all of this part, so I'm just going to cut apart the one line that I want. I'm going to put it on, I'm going to start with the top, because this is one of the nicer lines. I'm going to use the pencil or the popsicle stick. I'm going to rub this on. It's not going to work as well as I want it to, but they're old and it's kind of a funky one anyway. I take a little piece that was left over off the edge because there was a whole piece that didn't come off very well, and I pop it there. And then I am taking the leftover of what I fussy cut out before, and I'm just going to cut out a few of these hexagons. I'm going to pop a couple of them up. I'll try them there. That would have worked, but there's still a little bit of a mess on the side, so I decided to cover up the little bit of the mess. And then this one I'm going to play around with. It's going to go back where I thought I was going to go to begin with, but that's okay. I'm going to cut out a few more. And so a couple of these green ones are going to get popped up, and they're actually popped up right on the pattern paper in behind. And then there's going to be a couple more, but I want them to fit in this bottom piece. I'm just rotating around to figure out where this actually fits so I get the ones that actually fit. And then I'm going to pop those two up together. And then the last little bit that's left is just putting on enamel dots. So I use this whole sheet up. So there's a few white ones left, there's some blue ones, and there's some green ones. Looks like these are twine and ink. These are just from my stash. And it feels so good to get a whole row, well, a whole sheet of these done and gone. Enamel dots can last forever. And I'm going to pull this up close here. I was just thinking if it needed anything else. I might put some black splatters on it later, but I haven't decided yet. So that is the page. There's going to be some close-ups up here. Thank you so much for watching my video. I know there's lots of places you could be. If you like this video, please like it at the end screen here. And there is also another video that is popping up on this screen. Take a look at it. Thanks again for watching.